أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون صدق الله العظيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد. Since this surah Yaseen, from the beginning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted a few things. For amongst them was the aspect of the akhirah, about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring back to life the dead. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a story as an example, and thereafter Allah ta'ala brought about many signs which we can see for ourselves around us. The night, the day, the sun as it rises, it reaches its peak and then it sets, and then darkness looms over the world, and then the moon comes out. The moon also has through. We see it at once in the beginning of the month as a thin hair-like looking line, and then gradually as the month goes along it becomes more and more complete, and by the middle of the month it is in its full youth, gleaming upon the inhabitants of the world. Thereafter once again it starts to recede, fade and wean away until nothing of it remains. And in all of these signs Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling man, just as these creatures of Allah, they rise and they set, they come and they go, and they are constantly under the obedience of Allah, man ought to do the same. Man ought to recognize and be awakened by these signs around him that he too was nothing and he came about, and he is growing and he will reach his youth, and thereafter he will start to decline until he too is no more. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought to our attention his qudra and his power, how he is the one who keeps people afloat on a massive laden ship full of people, luggage, old and young, but yet Allah Ta'ala keeps it afloat the water and doesn't allow it to sink. But had Allah Ta'ala wished that this ship should sink, then there is nobody that can call out for help. There is nobody who will even be able to come to their rescue. Thereafter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and like the ship he has also created other things just as amazing as the ship, and many modes of transportations that we have seen over the ages, but we see one which resembles in its phenomenon like the ship, the aeroplane, how Allah Ta'ala allows it to traverse through the air and the atmosphere, and yet Allah Ta'ala doesn't make it fall out of mid-air and crash. Having mentioned all of these things, they should have been an example for us how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings the dead earth to life. And then again Allah Ta'ala, when he wishes, he destroys that earth. Likewise he will also bring mankind back to life also. When Allah Ta'ala can do all of these things, tend to recreate or to bring back a creation of his which he himself initiated, will be no harder in the least. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then now brings to our attention what will unfold on that day. Many people in this world, They deny Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They reject Allah. They say there is no God. The world came about by a big bang and through natural causes and scientific reasoning. And people came about and evolved through monkeys and so forth. And they rejected Allah ta'ala outright. Nobody can reject death. Nobody can reject the fact that nobody is immortal. Everyone who comes into this world will have an exit. Al-mawtu babun kullu nasi dakhiluha. Death is a door through which every single man to step foot on the surface of this earth will have to pass through it. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul shall taste death. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to, via the messages and the messengers, would tell the people that a day is coming, a day when you will have to pay for your deeds, a day when punishments will be meted out to the criminals, and when rewards will be given to those who were righteous and who carried good actions in this world. When they used to mock the messengers and saying that these are old fairy tales, these are old folk tales, there's nothing of the sort at all. If you are true, bring it on. Bring it on. They would challenge the messengers, challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying, وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. That when is this promise going to come? مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. If you are truthful. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds, مَا يَنظُرُونَ إِلَّا صَيْحَةً وَاحِدَةً تَأْخُذُهُمْ وَهُمْ يَخِصِّمُونَ. They're not waiting except for a single scream, a shriek of the angel, a blow of the angel, تَأْخُذُهُمْ, which will seize them, وَهُمْ يَخِصِّمُونَ, whilst they are arguing and quarreling amongst themselves in this world. And when that happens, فَلَا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ تَوْصِيَةً وَلَا إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. They will not be given a chance to make any bequest, nor will they be able to return back to their families, back to their homes. No matter how much they would wish that they had hoarded, how much properties they had acquired, how much was in their bank balance, they had kept it concealed, they had not told anybody. Now they want to quickly give it to their beloved wife, to their beloved children. They want to give and allocate a portion for sadaqah, for charity, but it's too late. The time has now arrived that this person is about to depart. No amount of bequeathing, no amount of wills is going to help this person, nor would he even be given a chance to even utter a will, let alone even returning back to his home. And this is the condition of everybody. We all say as Muslims, we believe in the akhirah, we believe in the day of judgment, we believe there's a Jannah, there's a Jahannam, and before all of that, there is a stage of death and maut. We all say we believe in it, but how much of our lives really display and manifest that yes, we have really believed in it and we are convinced we are going to go? Rather, our actions from the time that we wake up in the morning to the day, if we analyze it, go through the hours of the day, go through the hours of the afternoon and the evening and the night, which part of our life tells us, yes, we are as a family preparing for this trip of ours, preparing for this next stage of our travel, which is to the akhirah. Usually it is the usual runs in the morning, hurrying, packing lunches for the children, getting them ready, ironing the uniforms. The mother is preparing all the children. The father is getting ready for work. Off they go. Some goes to school, some are going to work. Sometimes the mother is also going to work, and then they come in the afternoon, in the evening, they unwind, they have their dinner, their lunch, or whatever it is. Then they're on their games, and they're having their relaxed time in front of the screens and the TV. Where is the time that was needed to prepare for the actual journey, to accumulate their provisions, their tickets, their luggage in terms of the a'mal salihah? Where was the time spent? Each time we said, yes, we'll do it in the holidays, we'll do it on the weekend classes, we'll do it then, let Ramadan come, we'll make amends then. And then Ramadan comes, Ramadan goes, and then we say, yes, we will start, we'll do what we did in Ramadan, and we will want to say, yes, we are going to do it, we are going to do it, we are going to do it. before we know it, the time will be up and Malakul Maut will be behind us, knocking on our door. At that time, حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدَهُمُ الْمَوْتِ قَالَ رَبِّ ارْجِعُونَ. Many a times we talk about Qiyamah, we talk about the trumpet being blown, and we think, wait, Dajjal hasn't come yet, Imam Mahdi hasn't come yet, Isa alayhi salam hasn't come yet, none of them have come yet. Qiyamah is still long time to come. Allah Ta'ala says, إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. They see it as very far away. وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. Whereas we see it as very close. اقتربت الساعة. The sa'a, the hour, is imminent, has drawn close. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. But yet, we delay it. We procrastinate in everything, thinking, yes, tomorrow. But tomorrow, as they say, never comes. حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدَهُمُ الْمَوْتِ. When the maut arrives, then that's when they say, رَبِّ ارْجِعُونَ. Oh Rabb, send us back. Give us one more chance. Allah Ta'ala is saying here, وَلَا إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. There's no chance this person is going to go back. There's no chance. لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِي مَا تَرَكْتُ. Let me do at least one good deed again. Just one good deed, and then I will go into the hereafter. كَلَّا إِنَّهَا كَلِمَةٌ هُوَ قَائِلُهَا وَمِنْ وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. Allah Ta'ala says never. It will never happen. There is no return, no turning back, no looking back. It's only ahead and ahead and into the realm of barzakh. Now, staying in barzakh, whatever deeds you had done in this world, if you were righteous ones, just as the grave becomes a rawdatun min riyad al-Jannah, a garden from the gardens of paradise, immediately you will start experiencing the blessings and the bliss of Jannah. A door will be open, or a window will be open from paradise, and you will be able to see your place in paradise. And from there, the breeze will come in, the fragrance will come in, and whatever blessings you are to attain in Jannah, you will immediately start to experience. On the other hand, a person who had not done righteous deeds, then his grave will become the pit, a pit from the pits of hellfire. And for him, a window will be open from hell, and from there, the heat, the stench, and all the evil things that is kept in Jahannam, in hellfire, he'll begin to experience it from there. And in this alam of barzakh, in this realm of barzakh, a person will begin his luxuries or begin his miseries. And this will continue until the trumpet will be blown. Now, usually here, we're talking about the day of Qiyamah when the trumpet will be blown. Remember, a person, when will your Qiyamah start? Each and every one of our Qiyamah will start the moment the angel of death arrives. That's our Qiyamah. We go beyond the framework of the clocks and the times. We go into a realm where there is no time. So as soon as our death arrives, that is our Qiyamah that has begun. On top of that, the Qiyamah of the entire world will be when the trumpet will be blown. When that trumpet will be blown, that will be such that it will shatter the world. The mountains will be powdered to dust. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْجِبَالِ فَقُلْ يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا فَيَذَرُهَا قَاعًا صَفْصَفًا لَا تَرَى فِيهَا عِوَجًا وَلَا أَمْتًا. Allah Ta'ala says, when the trumpet will be blown, even the mountains which were symbols of being so solid, anchored into the ground, they will be raised to the floor, leveled. No mounts, no hills, nothing will be seen. Allah Ta'ala says, إِذَا وَقَعَتِ الْوَاقِعَةِ لَيْسَ لِوَقَعَتِهَا كَاذِبَةٌ خَافِضَةٌ رَافِعَةٌ إِذَا رُجَّتِ الْأَرْضُ رَجًّا وَبُسَّتِ الْجِبَالُ بَسًّا فَكَانَتْ هَبَاءً مُنْبَثًّا. When the event will occur, and there's no rejection in this event occurring, it will definitely come to be. And when it comes, it will raise some in ranks, and it will abase and belittle others. And that is when the mountains will be powdered such that they'll be flying in the atmosphere like cotton wool. The stars, إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انْفَطَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْكَوَاكِبُ انْتَثَرَتْ. The sky above us will split apart. The stars that we see so far away, they'll fall out of its place. وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ فُجِّرَتْ. The oceans, the liters and liters of waters will be set on fire. وَإِذَا الْقُبُورُ بُعْثِرَتْ. Then all those who had been buried deep down in their graves, the graves will be overturned. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَإِذَا هُمْ مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ إِلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَنْسِلُونَ. And when the trumpet will be blown, all of a sudden, those in their graves, ajdath, they will come out. In another ayah, Allah Ta'ala says, فَإِذَا هُمْ قِيَامٌ يَنْظُرُونَ. When they come, they will be totally startled, bewildered. The terror will be such, إِنَّ زَلْزَلَةَ السَّاعَةِ شَيْءٌ عَظِيمٌ, be so tremendous. يَوْمَ تَرَوْنَهَا تَذْهَلُ كُلُّ مُرْضِعَةٍ عَمَّا أَرْضَعَتْ. That even the suckling mother will let go of her suckling child. وَتَضَعُ كُلُّ ذَاتِ حَمْلٍ حَمْلَهَا. Every pregnant woman will abort her child. وَتَرَى النَّاسَ سُكَارَى وَمَا هُمْ بِسُكَارَى وَلَكِنَّ عَذَابَ اللَّهِ شَدِيدٌ. Everyone will be seen to be in a drunken state, but yet they will not be drunken. Rather, it will be the severe punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now, going through this Qiyamah, the graves and the miseries of the grave, imagine how severe it will be on the Day of Judgment, that despite being in misery in the grave, when that trumpet will be blown and a person will come out of the graves, they'll be even more frightened. So frightened, they'll say, Ya waylana, man ba'athana min marqadina. Woe unto us, who has resurrected us from our resting places? No, they were never in rest. In the graves, they were being beaten. They were going through punishment. But the tremor and the fear of the Day of Judgment will be such that it will make whatever happened in the grave look like they were just resting there. And then they will be told, هَذَا مَا وَعَدَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَصَدَقَ الْمُرْسَلُونَ. This is what the Rahman had promised. That Rahman who sent messengers after messengers. That Rahman who sent signs after signs. That Rahman who facilitated for you everything in this world. All you had to do was to worship him. That Rahman, that promise which he had given to you, this is that. وَصَدَقَ الْمُرْسَلُونَ. All those messengers who were sent to you, they had indeed been truthful. This will be declared by the angels. إِن كَانَتْ إِلَّا صَيْحَةً وَاحِدَةً فَإِذَا هُمْ جَمِيعٌ لَدَيْنَا مُحْضَرُونَ. This is the second trumpet which will be blown. When it is blown, then everyone will be gathered and assembled before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now what will happen on this day? فَالْيَوْمَ لَا تُظْلَمُ نَفْسٌ شَيْئًا وَلَا تُجْزَوْنَ إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. This day no soul will be given injustice in the least. No one will be shown injustice. In the world, in this world, many people, their rights were taken away. Their honors were taken away. Their wealth was taken away. Many a wrong happened. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, you name it, everything. And there was no one to speak for them, no one to stand up for them, no one to ask on their behalf for their rights. But on this day, on the Day of Judgment, everything will come to be. Everything will be opened up. Every injustice committed will be recompensed. وَلَا تُجْزَوْنَ إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. You will only reap what you had sown. If it was good, you will get good. If it's bad, you will be given bad. Now going to those people who in this world had taken it seriously in preparing for the hereafter and who had worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then for them, having passed through the stage of Qiyamah, the resurrection, Allah ta'ala says, إِنَّ أَصْحَابَ الْجَنَّةِ الْيَوْمَ فِي شُغْلٍ فَاكِهُونَ. Verily, for the people of Jannah, today, فِي شُغْلٍ, they will be busy. Imagine being busy in Jannah. In this world, we say we're busy. We're busy to study. We're too busy to learn about our deen. Too busy to even bow down in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to pray our Dhuhr Salah, to pray our Asr Salah. No, what can I do? I have to go to work. I have to go and study. I have to go to college, university. I have to do the cooking. I have to do the shopping. We were too busy in this world. But when we are too busy in this world for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then indeed we'll be left with nothing to do in the grave. and nothing to do in the hereafter except to be afflicted with the punishment. For those who freed their time for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when a person frees their time for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah increases and expands their time, that they will fulfill the rights of Allah ta'ala. They'll also fulfill the rights of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will still have time left behind to engage in more and more ibadah, and time will be seeming to be endless. And for them in Jannah, they will become busy. Busy in what? Fakihun, in all the luxuries. They'll be joyously busy, not busy being bombarded with work to do and chores to do, and one stress after another stress like we are in this world. But over there we'll be busy from one joyous activity to another joyous activity. In other words, never ever will boredom settle on anybody. Hum wa azwajuhum fi dhilalin ala al-ara'iki muttaki'un. They and their spouses will be reclining upon couches, sitting in their shade. Shade of what? Not shade from the sun, but shade just in the shade of trees for the for luxurious purposes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says their couches will be made of gold, woven with the most precious of silk. This is something which we will not even be able to imagine in this world. مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. No eyes has ever seen, no ears has ever heard of, nor has the imagination of that ever have been comprehended by the heart. Wherever our imagination can take us, let it take us there. But Jannah will only start after our imagination. We can assemble all the most beautiful locations of the world, the most beautiful resorts, the most luxurious of resorts, put them together, design your own resort, and have all of that image on your mind. Jannah will begin after that, beyond that imagination. This is what Allah Ta'ala has kept prepared for us. Thrones that the people of heaven shall occupy will be woven with gold, and they will be all sitting and facing one another. لَهُمْ فِيهَا فَاكِهَةٌ وَلَهُمْ مَا يَدَّعُونَ. They will have therein the most exotic of fruits, such fruits that you take one bite of, the same fruit you take the second bite, it will give you a different taste. Take the third bite and it will be a different taste. كلما رزقوا منها من ثمرة رزقا قالوا هذا الذي رزقنا من قبل وأتوا به متشابها. We'll see a fruit. Hey, this fruit was there in the dunya. It looks like a strawberry. It looks like an orange. It looks like an apple. You take a bite. No. This is something far much better than what we had actually tasted. It resembles it, but nothing like it. وَلَهُمْ مَا يَدَّعُونَ. And for them will be whatever they call for. Nothing that they have to request for, beg for, work for. It is a mere wish, and it is there, presented before them. They demand. They are the bosses today. They are the kings of their palaces today. On top of all of these ni'mas of Jannah, everything will be given to everyone. Every single one of the inhabitants of Jannah will have everything that they would have desired. And they will be so well and content with what was given to them. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will assemble them. And Allah ta'ala will ask them, that shall I increase you in anything? Do you want anything more? And they will say, Alam tubayyid wujuhana? Didn't you brighten our faces, make it radiant? Didn't you give us what you haven't given to the rest of the world? You've given us everything. There is nothing we will wish to ask for. Then that's when Allah Ta'ala will lift up the hijab, will lift up the veil, and everyone will be able to see Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Wujuhun yawma idhin nadira. Their faces on that day will be fresh, radiant. Wujuhun yawma idhin nadira ila rabbiha nadira. And towards their Rabb they will be gazing. And everyone will be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, i.e. the inhabitants of Jannah, just as we see the moon. We don't have to crowd over one another to see the moon, but it will be there, visible for all to see. And Allah ta'ala will say, Salam qawlan min Rabbir Rahim. Allah Ta'ala will send His salam, His peace upon the inhabitants, saying, this is from the Rabb, the Rahim, the Lord, the Nourisher, the Nurturer, the Rahim, the most compassionate and merciful. And there will be no more bounty or blessings which will be more precious, which will be more pleasing than to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to receive salam from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who will witness all of this and who will in this world do those a'mal and do those things which we will then receive the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by means of His fadl and His mercy will be entered into the gardens of Jannah, where we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was for all those who in this world they may have gone through hardship, a loss of wealth, a maybe ill health, maybe one burden after another burden. Maybe they had to compromise on a higher wage for a lower wage so they can perform their salah. Maybe they had to compromise on one business or from one occupation to another occupation just so that they can give their family a better Islamic upbringing. Maybe they had to leave their luxurious home on the outskirts of the town and move into a very busy, hustling little town, but it was closer to the masjid for the sake of their kids and the children's Islamic education. But all of that will be paid back in full by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There will be nothing that a person will regret. But the only thing a person will regret in Jannah will be the time that he would have spent in this world without remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because for every remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for every subhanallah wa bihamdihi, a tree is planted. For every dhikr that you do, your Jannah is being made. As for those who got busy with this life, who got tied up in its chores, morning to evening, they were bent upon making their daily bread. And little time did they have for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the day of Qiyamah, in this world, maybe we lived amongst them. Maybe they lived amongst us. Maybe they were our neighbors. Maybe we were their neighbors. Maybe we had friends. Those who were practicing, who were not practicing. We got along. We ate together. We walked together. And sometimes we participated in events together. But on this day, everyone will be sieved out. وَامْتَازُوا الْيَوْمَ أَيُّهَا الْمُجْرِمُونَ. O criminals, today, move to a side. You will be separated. You cannot stay on the same line as those who bowed in front of Allah. You cannot stand in the same line as those who truly worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah ta'ala will say, أَلَمْ أَعْهَدْ إِلَيْكُمْ يَا بَنِي آدَمَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا الشَّيْطَانَ. Did, O son of Adam, did I not emphasize to you, don't worship shaitan? Did I not tell you that he is a manifest, a clear enemy to you? But little did Bani Adam pay heed. Some directly became Satanists. Some directly became devil worshippers, where they bowed down before Iblis. Some indirectly became the worshippers of shaitan. Every instigation of shaitan, we said labbaik to, and we fulfilled that desire. No sooner was that desire fulfilled that shaitan gave us another thought. Without even paying heed to the akhirah, we went after that. One thing after another, shaitan told us. One thing after another, through different avenues and different channels, different mediums, different social platforms, shaitan whispered to us. He shouted out to us. He called us. And each time from any platform that he called us, we kept on saying, yes, I am here. We began following one trend. Then another one came out and shaitan said, do this. And we began to follow that trend. And like this, we lived our life only saying, yes, shaitan, I will do this, and adopting the very practices that shaitan wanted us to do. Shaitan wanted Bani Adam to get involved in magic. Shaitan wanted that Bani Adam starts to take help from the jinns, and so did they. And they began to utilize the jinns for their own ends, from their own motives. They began to use shaitan to bring about harms to others. They began to use black magic in order to achieve their highest ends which they can achieve in terms of the materials and the technologies of this world. But for how long? For how long will that continue? Allah Ta'ala will bring all of them to task, separate them on this day, on the day of judgment, and address them, saying, had I not tell you, Ani'buduni, that you worship me alone, Hada siratum mustaqim, did I not tell you that this is the straight path, the path of the Anbiya, the path of the truthful ones, the path of the shuhada and the martyrs, the path of the salihin and the righteous ones. You should have stayed on that path. وَلَقَدْ أَضَلَّ مِنْكُمْ جِبِلًّا كَثِيرًا. And indeed, he had taken a great contingent of people, many a people astray from the time of Nuh alayhi salam, where he tricked them and he deceived them into worshipping the idols. How he had taken the people, the progeny of Qabil away astray by means of initiating the music and the instruments of music, and likewise many generations down with the very same deceptions, with the very same false promises, with the same instruments of music, he continues to take people astray. أَفَلَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْقِلُونَ. Don't you have brains? Don't you have intelligence? Can't you think? Now you didn't think. You didn't use the mind that Allah has given you. So now what will happen? هَذِهِ جَهَنَّمُ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. This is the Jahannam which you were threatened with, which you were promised with. إِسْلَوْهَا الْيَوْمَ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْفُرُونَ. Enter into it today because of what you used to reject. الْيَوْمَ نَخْتِمُ عَلَى أَفْوَاهِهِمْ. No matter how much you plead, no matter how much you plead guilty, or how much you deny what you had done. Many people in this world, we like to make excuses, and we have an excuse for everything. We have a justification for everything. These habits will die hard. On the day of judgment, the same old habit of making excuses will come about. The same old habit of trying to justify our actions will come about. But on that day, Allah Ta'ala will say, Al-yawma nakhtimu ala afwahim. We are going to seal your mouths. وَتُكَلِّمُنَا أَيْدِيهِمْ. Your hands will start to talk. وَتَشْهَدُ أَرْجُلُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. And your feet will also begin to bear witness of what you used to do. And another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the sam'uhum wa absaruhum wa juluduhum bima kanu ya'malun. The hearing of a person, the seeing of a person, ears, eyes, and even the skin of a person will begin to bear witness against them. And they will look back at their limbs, they will look at their hands, they will look at their feet, they will look at their body and say, why are you giving witness against us? Then our own limbs, the people's limbs, will begin to say, look, today is the day Allah has caused us to speak, and we will speak. So Allah Ta'ala says, in this world, look how merciful Allah Ta'ala was. Had He wished, you committed the sin, Allah could have sent down a punishment. Allah could have wiped your limbs off. The very limb that you disobeyed Allah Ta'ala with, the very hands that you disobeyed Allah Ta'ala with, the very eyes that you gaze with, which Allah Ta'ala prohibited you from, and the very legs that took you towards the evil and towards the disobedience of Allah Ta'ala. Had Allah Ta'ala wished, He could have transfigured you. He could have wiped out your hands. He could have disabled you. He could have taken away your gaze. وَلَوْ نَشَاءُ لَطَمَسْنَا عَلَىٰ أَعْيُنِهِمْ. That had we wished, we could have obliterated, wiped out their eyes. فَاسْتَبَقُوا الصِّرَاطِ. Then they'll run towards the path. فَأَنَّا يُبْصِرُونَ. How will they see once Allah Ta'ala has taken away their eyes? In another interpretation also, that had Allah Ta'ala wished, and Allah Ta'ala takes away the tawfiq of a person, his spiritual eyes, the eyes of nur, then he tries, once Allah Ta'ala takes away the tawfiq, then he tries to look for the path. How is he going to see the path? No nur is there in his eyes. وَلَوْ نَشَاءُ لَمَسَخْنَاهُمْ عَلَى مَكَانَتِهِمْ. Had we wished, we could have transfigured them in the very places that they are in. فَمَا اسْتَطَاعُوا مُضِيًّا وَلَا يَرْجِعُونَ. They will not have been able to go forward, no backwards. They will not have been able to do anything. وَمَن نُعَمِّرْهُ نُنَكِّسْهُ فِي الْخَلْقِ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Thereafter Allah Ta'ala says, and to whom we give a prolonged life, نُعَمِّرْهُ, we let him live for years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. Some even reach 70, 80, 90 years. So whosoever we prolong their life, نُنَكِّسْهُ فِي الْخَلْقِ, we will reverse them in their structure. Just as when a person is born, they're very feeble, they're very dependent, they cannot speak, they cannot see much, they cannot hear much, but slowly as they grow and they become stronger, they see things more clearly, they begin to recognize, they can differentiate between a man, a woman, the father, mother, and strangers. And as they grow up, they slowly start to gain strength in their legs, they are able to stand and walk, and then they're able to run. And likewise, a person reaches the brim and the peak of their youthfulness and their strength, and then they begin to challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they continue to live their lives, and once again they reach a stage, Allah ta'ala reverses them. Just as initially they were helpless, they were weak, they were feeble, their eyes didn't work properly, their legs and their arms didn't move properly. Again, Allah Ta'ala slowly takes away the strength again. And again, eyesight becomes weaker, the hearing becomes weaker, the joints become weaker, muscles begin to slacken. And now, with every step we take, or a person takes, he begins to feel pain. And the person begins to experience the creaks within the joints. This is Allah Ta'ala saying, نُنَكِّسْهُ فِي الْخَلْقِ, we will reverse them in their structure. And when you see that Allah Ta'ala can do this, how we see in our own lives, how people grow in front of us, how people grow old in front of us, how people reaching their old age, how they become weak again. If we can see this, shouldn't it really click? أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ? Don't they understand then, after seeing all of this, that just as Allah Ta'ala can do all of this over a period of time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do that in a second too. That 1 second you are full of youth, you are full of strength, you have every power that you need, no illnesses, no weaknesses, but within a moment Allah Ta'ala can pull the string and you will have nothing of that power again. Just as Allah Ta'ala can do that over a prolonged amount of years, Allah Ta'ala is capable of doing that within a second too. And this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings to our attention our reality, the reality of how weak we are and how quickly we will disappear from this world. And hence we ought to make muhasabah, take an account of ourselves, and also do muraqabah, that if right now the string is pulled and the soul comes out, where am I heading towards? What am I taking with me? And how will I be treated in the hereafter? Have I done enough? Have I got my ticket? Have I gathered my luggage? Have I gathered my provisions that will deliver me to my destination with ease and comfort or not? And with this, inshallah, we conclude here, and inshallah tomorrow we will finish Surah Yaseen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding. Ameen. Wa akhir da'wan alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.